All right. Ugh. I know I'm on my freaking couch and yeah. So I just came back from being with the client and a lot of things that she said during that time, excuse me, I got my little wig piece on. But anyhow, a lot of things that she said while I was with her resonated with me, and I could see um I could understand why um I felt the way that I did when I went through the things that I went through. First of all, I want to let people know that, what I went through, it was not just physical abuse, this was spiritual abuse. Um, and that's way tougher than emotional and verbal abuse. This, like, it was really, really deep because you can get away with it so tough. That's why I said when I started to fight back, I had to step back but fight it in the right realm. Like, it was so crazy. But anywho, I started listening to one of my clients, and the first thing that she talked about was how she would do a lot of stuff in like school in the community, and her family would just put that down and act like it was just no big deal. Um, and then she was like, she felt comfortable about it and all that. She not comfortable, but she felt okay about it. But they would tell her, don't be such a know-it-all. Don't be such a goody two shoes and all that. And she was like, so she felt like after a while, because it happened so much, that she just started hiding her accomplishments from them. Um, and she was like, I just felt like I was doing the wrong thing. She was like, then when she started going out in public, she started noticing people doing that to her or being mean because she's doing good things, not because she's doing bad things. They'll talk about people who do bad things, but they talked about her because she was doing good things and she couldn't understand it. And I had to like look and I had to laugh because I was like, you know what? I went through the same exact thing and I was just like, okay. Okay, now I get it, um and we had our little discussion. I can't really go into detail about the discussion we had because it's a confidential discussion. But I will tell you about what it gave me. Because when you help other people, when you come to not solve their problems or have people or analyze people's issues, it not only helps them, it helps you. That's why you love to do it, because it helps you get a better understanding of yourself and the things that you come up against. And that's exactly what happened. Um I grew up like that. I had relatives, like, we were in, like, I want to say, like, I was like in middle school, some of them were like in high school, the other one was in middle school with me, and we used to have this thing where you get a certain amount of money for how many A's you get and B's and C's, and then the rest of you don't get anything. But then, they would hate it because I would get all these A's and probably, like, I'll freak out if I had like a B on my report card or something. But school was very easy for me. It was very slow, but I'm not slow. Well, it was very easy for me. Um, so I was in honors class. I would be getting all these A's, and they would just hate it. Or I would get up and I would be ready. When my grandfather came, like on the Saturdays, my grandfather used to show up at different times in the day just to make sure that we were prepared and ready for everything. Like, I kid you not, that's probably why I end up and I be over the top with certain things, because I always had to be prepared. And I felt bad when people started telling me you don't have to be all that, prepared and all that up. But what I learned is that people who do that, they're just insecure about themselves, because either way it shouldn't bother them not one bit, but if it does, it should make them want to go in a direction that you're going if it bothers them that much. But they're not going to tell you that they really like what you're doing or they really admire what you're doing. And so listening to that conversation that we had and that dialogue that we had, it gave me so much relief. Um, Not only that, because I was going through a lot of issues with dealing not only with my family, but dealing, well, yeah, that's still part of my family, but dealing with my mom and being having to grow up very, very, very quickly. Um, when you do that, you have to. It's not well, they call it growing up quickly. That means you just put a lot of emotional stuff on the side, and you have to, tend to other things. Most people, when you live in like, I don't want to say urban neighborhoods, because not everybody who lives in an urban neighborhood has to deal with those circumstances. A lot of those people that are in those neighborhoods have two parents, and they're working and doing all of that. But with me, I didn't have either one of my parents. My grandparents took care of me. My grandfather died when I was like, I want to say 14. My grandmother got sick, started getting sick back and forth, like on and off a lot. So I had to be much of an adult for, since I was like, I want to say like 13, really. Yeah. So, yeah, it takes a toll on you. And then it's like, am I good enough? Am I this? Am I that? And you don't really even think that you're saying that until like later. You don't come out your mouth saying, am I good enough or am I pretty enough? But you show it in your actions. And I started noticing that even not only with my family issues, but with my relationships. The first thing that I wanted to do when I got older was to get out of the house and have my own family where I can be comfortable and I'll be able to relax and have my own bed. I don't think I ever had I did not have my own bed. Even though I was supposed to have my own bed, I did not have my own bed until I went to college. So, and I know that sounds kind of, tough for a lot of people to hear, but that's the truth. We kind of shared everything. And I know people like, in this day and age, you shared everything. Yes, we shared everything. So coming into this area where people are like just like throwing stuff at you and they don't care. They wear things like very quick, like, or one shirt, 1 hour, I'm done. They're throwing it away. It's like, what? Like, that's being so wasteful. Why can't you do this with it? Why can't you? It. Yeah. So anyhow, so I had to deal with those issues with, am I smart enough? Am I pretty enough? Or when I do stuff, now I can't say that I haven't done like things, because I've accomplished a lot of things, but if you're around a lot of people who are always downplaying, or whether it's intentional or unintentional, if they're downplaying your accomplishments, you're going to feel like you have done nothing with your life. Um so that's how I felt. I was just like, I couldn't do this. I couldn't do that. I felt like I had made no accomplishments in my life for a good minute until I listened to my clients. See, I was just food for me. Like, it really was. It was food. It was life. And just to think like, okay, Belle, write down the things that you've done. Write down the things that you have accomplished. And a couple of those things, a lot of people haven't accomplished. And especially from where I came from. I was just a kid in a trash can. So, I wasn't supposed to make it anyway. So you think about that and you just, well, I might as well be fortunate. I might as well, excuse me, it's just a lot of itching. My head's growing crazy. Um, I might as well be grateful and all that. And you don't want to feel like you're putting anyone else down by pushing your accomplishments out there. But I got to the point after I listened to that and just said, you know what? I cannot, even though I say, you can't dictate what people are, but I can no longer hide who I am just to appease people who are not even on my level. Not to say, oh yeah, on my level. Yes, not on my level. I'll take that back. Not on my level, okay? A lot of people are out here doing some crazy stuff, okay? Crazy, crazy stuff. I'm not trying to have it. Not to say that I'm on the level of levels or nothing like that. I'm just on a whole nother path right now. And yeah, be grateful for that and be okay with that. That was my opportunity to say, I'm free. I am free from your judgments. I am free. You are welcome to have anything that you believe that I am, or whatever you think of me, but I have the final say in what I do, and what I feel about myself is the main thing that matters. you know um so yeah, that gave me a lot of freedom. She after I talked to her and we had this conversation, and I shared some of my shortcomings and how I felt, as a woman, and the more that you go across this, you start seeing that there are really other people who are in their teens, who are in their 20s, in their 30s, their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, and 90s, went through the same thing, that are just women who went through the same thing, because we are human. So, yeah, so that's why I felt like I needed to share this. I felt so much freedom from going back of it, because I was just like, and my client is so beautiful. Like, she looks like a Barbie doll. She looks like a Barbie doll a lot. And she's so sweet, so polite. Kind of remind me of myself. It was just, I know a lot of people say that. I hate when people say that about me. Like, you remind me of me. No, I remind me of me. Yeah, I get what they're saying. But what a freedom that was. So, if you are coming across this message, or you have some time on it, think about the times that you've done something that you wanted to put out there and say hooray for yourself, and you decided to say no, well, I'll wait, because someone else had something that they needed to share, or you had a some issues to deal with your kids, or with the sibling, or with the loved one, or with the parent, or with the coworker, and you had to put your accomplishment on hold, and you couldn't give yourself some time to pat yourself on the back. This is your time to just get up and say toot toot, give yourself a pat on the back, because you deserve it, and you are free to do so. There is nothing wrong with that. So if you have time, go in your little corner in your closet. I go in my car sometimes and I do my little toot toot dance. And it makes me feel happy. I don't give a care if you say, "Oh yeah, she's too old to do that." I still do that, because I need to remember how great I am. And when I look around and things are going, really, really tough, I can go in that closet and say, "You know what, Bill? You overcame a lot of things. You overcame, and you got up and you start thriving on this. So this situation, or this tackle, or this obstacle is just a test. It's only short. It's only temporary. You've been through worse. You've been through this. And if you haven't been through worse, you've been through something close to it. It's a prototype out there that's close to it. So I know that if somebody else can make it, then I can make it, whether I went through it or not. So, yeah, give yourself a pat on the back. That was my thing of freedom. Yeah, hopefully something I said or done will help you on your journey. Please stay tuned to Journey to Jerusalem, and thank you so